I want to say thank you to our fans. It was a great environment today. It was great to see as much green and gold out there in the stands. And then after a very disappointing first half, to see our fans stay and really support our players and our team and really give us some good energy there in the second half when our guys came out and fought. So I just want to make that comment. I really appreciate our fans and look forward to some good days here in Ray J with our fans in the future. Congrats to Florida. They got a great team. There's a reason they're ranked where they are. And Coach Mullen and his staff did an excellent job. And bottom line, we got out-executed in the first half and just gave up too many big plays on defense. And then offensively, couldn't do what we needed to do to sustain drives and just kept putting our defense in some difficult situations. So that's ultimately where this game was lost, was in the first half. Just gave up way too many points too quickly and couldn't move the ball in offense. Got in at halftime. Obviously, we had a plan to have a much different game at half than where it was. But all you can do is go from there. And you got a team right there coming off a difficult loss last week, and then all of a sudden you're down 35-3 at halftime. And I just told our guys we're going to find out a lot about our team the second half. And we said a lot of the right things. The guys responded well, in the off season and all these things that we talked about. But ultimately, you're going to find out. And I just told our guys there's nothing we can do about the first half. But what I expect them to do is go out and play better in the second half than we did, and play all the way to the very last whistle. And bottom line, there's not going to be one player, one coach that's going to quit and give in. And I'd be very disappointed if I saw that. And I told them, hey, we're going to treat it 0-0. We say that whenever we're up at half. We say, hey, it's a 0-0 game. So let's find out what the score is in the second half. And there's no moral victories. The goal is to win the game. We didn't win the game. We played very poorly in the first half. But I do think we're going to look back at the second half of this game, the way this group responded, down 35-3. It's very easy, very common just to kind of roll over, and it could have gotten real ugly real quick. And our guys competed and played hard in the second half and ended up, outscoring them 17-7 in the second half. So, I really think we're going to look back, 3, 4, 5 weeks from now, and say that the second half of this game is where really we kind of started to turn the corner. And a very difficult opening slate. We knew that going in. We're not apologizing for that, but we are recognizing, hey, it's a difficult first 2-game stretch. I'm not sure how many teams open up against 2 Power 5s back-to-back to open up the season, but we knew that coming in. And wish we would have played a lot better for those 8 quarters than we did. But now we got to kind of learn from it, put it behind us. We still got 10 games to go in the season, and I'm still very optimistic that we can make a lot of improvement and show progress here in these last 10 games. So from that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, you talked about the second half. Timmy McClain was the quarterback in the second half. What did you see from him moving the ball and ultimately finding the end zone?
Yeah, well, it wasn't perfect, but he definitely gave us a spark and just kind of showed some energy. I think it was very similar to last week whenever he went in against NC State. The difference is, he didn't throw interceptions. He protected the ball a little bit better. I hated that we had a bad snap down there on the 1-yard line. That should have been a touchdown drive right there. But he did some good things, and I was glad for him to be able to get some work today, both him and Cade. And we just got to go back as a staff and kind of evaluate both of those guys and the other guys that we have through 2 games.
Coach, talking about that play on the goal line, do you have an under center package where the quarterback can get in there and not make it a 4th and 6, but a 4th and a half yard?
Yes, we do, but I don't think you should ever be afraid of taking a shotgun snap. I mean, I think you look all over the country, everybody's still, shotgun teams play shotgun at the 1-yard line. Did the same thing at Clemson. Ultimately, the reason that we scored down there the next time, right, same situation, it comes down to something as simple as a snap, right? The center's got a guy head up on him, and the snap goes high and right, and we do have plays that we get underneath center, but we felt like schematically what we had going into the game, we liked the play that we called, but it just comes down to the little things like the snap, getting a snap, and those are the things that we just haven't been as sharp as we need to be in these first 2 games.
Coach, the double pass was a perfect call. If he makes that catch, it's 7-7 and momentum swings your way.
Yeah.
Maybe a whole different ballgame, huh?
Yeah, that was something that, we worked all week, and, at the end of the day, we gotta complete that, and, but, we'll get better. Our guys will learn from it, and we'll definitely get better, but yeah, there's no question. Same thing last week, early on, you got an opportunity to make a couple plays and change the course of the game, and ultimately, we didn't do it, so we've gotta figure that out and get that corrected.
Coach, you talk about, wanting the team to come into the locker room at the end a lot different than they did at halftime. What was that feeling like? I mean, no moral victories, but I'm sure that the energy must have been a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line, there's no moral victories. We weren't celebrating, there wasn't anybody smiling. We lost the game and did not play well for 4 quarters. So we gotta be sure that we address that, recognize that, and we don't hide that. It is what it is. But, I did tell the guys that I was really proud of their effort, and really, it should show them what we're capable of if we can play 4 quarters. This week we played 2 quarters. We're getting closer, but we got to play 4 quarters, especially when you're playing a really good team. The margin of error is very, very small, and so I just told them to stick together. Adversity like this, these guys have been through a lot in the last 3 years. This ain't easy, right? But I just told them. Adversity like this, it either brings you closer together, you come back to work and you get better, or you divide. And the thing that I'm most pleased with, even though I'm really disappointed, I'm pleased that this group is not split. They've had plenty of opportunities, and as long as they'll stay together, we do have enough talent. We got to do a better job as coaches, getting the execution where it needs to be, and I definitely feel like we can have a good season.
It looked like you guys in the second half, especially defensively in the pass coverage, looked like you went a little bit more zone. If you could touch on what you did to get especially those 2 interceptions right there.
Yeah, coming into the game, they ran for 400 yards last week, and they didn't complete as many throws last week. And so, that's what a challenging offense, right? Where you're talented up front, running the ball, and also talented throwing the ball. We kind of had to pick, and we decided the first half to be really aggressive against the run and make them have to make those throws. And you got to give their quarterbacks credit. If you watched the game last week, they did not make those throws, and they'll probably admit that. Today they did. And, so that was kind of our game plan going in, was we were going to try to stop the run and make them have to make contested plays. And you give them credit, they did. You tip your hat to them, and then we had to make the adjustment second half and play more zone, and we're able to get some turnovers and hold them. Really, I know they got some yards, but really, there was one big explosive run there in the second half. And outside of that, we did a lot better job against the explosive plays.
Coach, you talk about being so close. The 4th down play, you're in the right defense, just can't make the tackle.
Yeah.
You're getting close, aren't you?
Yeah, it was right there in front, all right? And you know what they say about close, right? And that's improvement, right? And again, there's no moral victories, but you go from last year where you may have some similar games and you weren't even close. You couldn't even look, and it wasn't much things to look and feel optimistic about. So even though we haven't got the result we want in these 2 games, I've seen some improvement. I still see a lot of things we got to get corrected, but that's what gives me optimism as we move forward into next week.
Coach, last week you started 0 for 11 on 3rd downs. You convert 4 of your first 6, and then there's the law. You miss 8 straight. What did the Gators do defensively on those? That stretch there after some success early on?
Yeah, they made some adjustments. They changed some things. We felt like we had a pretty good beat early on some things, and they made some adjustments, and were able to bring some pressure and just some of the calls we had. We couldn't get the ball out in time, and they were able to affect our quarterback and play a little bit more man coverage on our guys down the field. We were kind of caught in between a little bit. I felt like offensively we needed to go fast and kind of run our gas plays. That maybe one of those first drives early, we kind of were moving the ball fast, but the way we were playing defensively, we had to slow our offense down because we couldn't go out there and go fast 3 plays, 3 and out, and give it right back to them. So, it's just not able to play complementary football yet. I felt in the second half we did a little bit better job, and that's really what you want, where you get a 4th down or a 3rd down stop, punt return, then offense goes down to score. Like, that's one of the first times this year that I've seen complementary football, defense, special teams, offense, all playing together. And that's what you have to do to be able to stay on schedule. And in first half, we just were not on schedule.
Coach, what did your quarterback show you today that might have, cleared some things up for you in terms of the starter?
Yeah, You know, it's hard to say. I gotta go back and on the sidelines, you can only see so much. I mean, I think we know that there were some decisions both guys made that, you know, we wanted to make a different decision in a couple plays. Some of the RPO stuff, you know, you get different looks, and sometimes, you know, you're supposed to hand it off and you throw it. Sometimes you're supposed to throw it and you hand it off. And so I gotta get back and get in front of the video to be able to see what these guys were seeing before I can really grade them. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're gonna have to pick a quarterback and move forward. I'm not ready to do that right now without watching the tape. And we'll see if we're ready to do that next week. Ultimately, the big picture goal is to have our quarterback solidified before going into game 5, starting conference play. But as soon as we can get there, I think we'll be in a better position. But the good thing is we got a lot of video to evaluate, and Trey went in there for his series and let us down on a score, so that was good to see as well. But we got a lot of evaluation still to do at that position and others.
And the follow-up, Richardson and Jones both had big days. What kind of problems did they present to you, and how was the rotation kind of giving you problems as well as it like was in?
Yeah, it wasn't the rotation, it was just the fact that one of those two was always in. You know, I mean, the great play that 15 made, you know, our guy should have made the tackle, but I've been on the other side of those. I coached Sammy Watkins, and bottom line, he was just better than everybody else. And there'd be 3 people try to tackle him, they all miss, and he goes scores, and we won a bunch of games. So, you know, that's a great player over there. Five's a really good player as well. He made a lot of plays with his feet. So, you know, we got to focus on what we can focus on, and when you get an opportunity to hit those guys, you got to wrap up, and we didn't. You let that guy bounce off 1 or 2, and you know, they got big time speed, and that was definitely what we saw there. But you know, both of those quarterbacks are you know, very good players, and I know they'll have a big season regardless who's in.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
We'll have Jaron Mangum, Dwayne Boyles, and Brock Nichols in.